All right, this is take two with Miss Macy Tomlin. Hopefully we can get this get this to work. I mean, that's kind of the fun part about lives is that it's always now. There's no time to change things or make things better or fix your hair or you have to kind of fix it while you're looking at yourself. So there she is. Oh, perfect. All right, let's see. Oh, perfect. Look at
Hey!
us. It's always nice. Actually, I did a conversation with Logan. You know Logan, right?
Logan Hart, yeah.
Wow, your lighting looks amazing. It makes you look like you're like on the beach in the sun.
That's great because it's dark out. So,
But you are in Mexico, so we all dream of that's what it looks and feels like when we're there.
most of the time, yeah, when it's sunny out, for sure.
No, but I was just saying about Logan. I had a conversation with him the other day, and it like went on automatically. It was like the quickest way to load somebody, and every other time I've done it, it's like it takes forever, and I'm like talking to myself, going, "I hope people don't leave."
Yeah, yeah. Well, I didn't know that I had to be on a phone. So, and I don't have the app on my phone for various reasons. But
Oh,
yeah,
I
so
can
I'll have
relate.
to delete it after this.
Well, I'm glad we finally got you on. I don't, wow, actually I've got like 15 people on. Cool. People are dying to hear about plant medicine, and I know people think from what they know about me, I'm a little bit crazy and off the wall into my plants in Peru and all of the magic stuff. And you kind of are the one who helped get me started on that journey because I had seen a video that you posted. Oh my gosh, I think I met you 3 years ago in September, I want to say. It was my birthday. And then it must have been right after that you went in February, or is it 4 years? It's either 3 or 4 years.
We met 3 years ago, and
Yeah,
I've been on the medicine path for about 2 years now. 2 years in
yeah.
February.
So it must have been like right after I met you in September. Then in
Mhm.
February, you had your first experience with ayahuasca.
February 2016. Yep.
Yeah. And then
Yep.
that's when I had seen your video and I like started crying when I was watching your video retelling your experience. I could just like energetically feel some sort of shift in you and I didn't even really know you that well.
Wow. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, normally I don't share my ayahuasca experiences too much anymore, but I'm really happy that I did that first one before because I think it's good for other people to hear about the experience, how enlightening it can be to sit with a plant medicine, and how it really can open your heart. Of course, there's still challenges from the real world that you have to face after sitting with the medicine, of course. And the plant medicine, once you kind of reach it, life kind of challenges you in different ways, but it's
Right.
all for your like soul growth, and to open it's for you to open your heart even fuller and wider and bigger. So yeah, I definitely don't regret that video.
No, not at all. But I do hear what you're saying about kind of the further you get into the medicine, the more you value your energy and who you exchange energy with.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, well, that's why I'm not really on Facebook anymore. This is my first Facebook Live video in, oh my God, months, because I just got back from my second apprenticeship in Peru, and I've really learned the value and the importance of protecting your energy, and that's not doing things that don't feel right to you, and not giving your energy away freely anymore. So I've been kind of just bunkering down and really integrating what I've learned. So this is the first time I've kind of like come back out into the public eye. Yeah,
Well, I love it because the
good.
public loves you. You have like so many people who follow who follow you on Facebook. So I'm sure they're happy to see you back on. And for those of you who don't know about ayahuasca, I don't know if you want to give kind of like the layman's terms for people about what ayahuasca is all about.
Sure. Well, it's a very, very old indigenous brew, and the story of this brew goes that there was a tree sitting, and the tree is known as Niue Rao, and the tree was sitting by a riverbed. This was thousands of years ago, and its seeds were dropping into a river, and the fish were eating the seeds, and the fish were flying. So a man was witnessing this, and he thought, "Wow, I got to bathe in the bark of this tree," because back in the thousands of years ago, the people there were really, really connected to nature, not unlike what the Shipibo tribe is still like. But they were just so connected to nature. So he decided to bathe in the bark of this tree, knowing that there is wisdom in these trees and these plants. And the bark told him, the tree told him, the spirit of the tree said, you need to mix the bee cappy and the chacruna. And that's when ayahuasca was made. So that's the story of the first shaman. And
Wow.
it's one of my favorite stories of whether or not I wouldn't doubt that that's not true, because the plants really do share this sacred knowledge. And if you can attune yourself into that knowledge, really, really settle your mind. And it's always nice to be in nature to do this. That's why, like, when I do apprenticeships, I do it in the depths of the jungle. And, I sit in isolation where there's no Wi-Fi, there's no electricity, because you can become so much more in tune with Mother Nature, and the messages just flow in. So I don't doubt that story isn't true. Like, I truly believe that is the first brew, because how else, how would you figure that out? Those two main ingredients. So ayahuasca is the bee cappy vine, which has an MAOI inhibitor, which stops all our MAOAs and MAOBs. Those usually break down, like if you were to ingest DMT, that's what breaks it down, so you can't like hallucinate. So the MAOI stops your stomach from doing that, and then you add the DMT through the chacruna, and you get about it can last up to 15 hours. Sometimes sometimes if the brew is made very strong, it can last a really long time, but it's normally 5 to 6 hours, where you go through a very, very intense journey, learning about yourself, very, very emotional journey. So you purge emotionally, you purge physically, and it really, really opens your heart. I mean, it's not easy work, as you probably know. It can be very, very intense.
Yeah.
But if I've learned anything at all, it's that that's where you grow, is through that intensity, at least for me. And I feel that you've probably found a lot of growth in that
Yeah.
as well.
Well, I think what I found is that it really starts you on a journey.
Hmm.
So whether or not you continue with ayahuasca or if you move into something else, it really just sort of opens you up to things that you can't forget.
Yeah.
So
Oh God,
it's like
yeah.
once you basically the plants bring you to a place of remembering what was already here, and you can't really forget it. And so for me, I kind of went to get what I thought was to get rid of alcohol in my life, but it really started me on a whole nother journey of discovering that there's no magic potion that helps you just get rid of anything in your life. And you really do have to do the work. But when you really connect with plants, you vibrate at a different frequency, so that you start to just crave things that are really only good for you.
That's really true. That I totally 100% agree with that, because I've done diet after diet now. That I've done 3 dietas, which is where you sit, an apprenticeship. And after my second one, I said, "Oh, I'll never smoke a cigarette again, or I'll never drink alcohol again." And it was, I was only so far on my healing journey, not to, to touch it again. And fortunately, I did. And this last diet, I feel like I really did kick it. I really, like, this last one was all about learning about myself and self-love, and being extremely, extremely gentle to myself, and very, very forgiving. And yeah, I've had no urge after that to put anything that's, going to suffocate me, or going to make me feel gross. I just don't have that. I just love myself too much. So, and that's
Right?
what the plants have done for me. It's breaking down these really, really tough walls of our ego, and then finding this really, really beautiful kindred light within all of us, that we all have, and really trying to take care of that and protect that. So that's, that's what I've gotten really out of my experience so far with the plants.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't even imagine just the 10 days that I was there. My first experience was at, is it Nihiro? How do you pronounce it
Niue
exactly?
Rao. It's named
Niue
after the
Rao. Okay.
tree that introduced the shaman to ayahuasca.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so that was my first experience because you had recommended it, and I was there for I think 10 days, and you were on your 90 days, I think, your 3 month diet, and I
Yeah.
just couldn't even I couldn't even fathom that, and I still have a hard time fathoming that. So,
Yeah, it was intense, and it was really hard for me to come back into society with what I had learned. I mean, this isn't for the faint of heart, that's for sure. I will say that. It's ayahuasca is not for everybody, and sometimes there's a saying, the most painful thing to do is to open your eyes. But you go through a very, very deep journey, and once you're in nature for a really long time, society, you see the matrix for what it is. So coming back to that has always been a challenge for me. The integration is what is the hardest for everyone. After that video that I made of my first ayahuasca experience, I thought, well, I'll never be depressed again. I'm happy forever, and that's just not human. That's just not being human. You're gonna feel emotions, and ayahuasca does take you on a roller coaster of those emotions, because the work is never done. You're gonna be continually cleaning, and working with yourself and those emotions. So the integration is the most important part of all of this, and that's what I'm getting down now is really, I love to sit by myself at this point. I've gotten to the point, and I'm experienced enough to sit with ayahuasca by myself and hold small ceremonies for me. and
nice.
I've sat once since my last diet, and I got back from my last diet 70 days ago. So,
Wow.
and I've only sat once, and I've really had no call because I'm super connected, and I'm still integrating that in very, very, very intense experience of me being in the jungle, 70 days ago. And the tree that I dieted, the tree that I sat with and I learned from, is one of the toughest diets you can do, the toughest apprenticeships that you can do. And it was so intense, and I got so much out of it that it's going to be a really long time for me to integrate even the 2 months that I sat. And now next year, though, I go for my full year apprenticeship. So that'll be fun.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. But I definitely I don't recommend a full year diet until you get like super experienced with these plants, because it takes a toll on your body. I'm having right now I'm having trouble with my teeth, just because like I was eating fish and plantain, and that was it for so long. I mean, you basically you have to, as they say, like you take out the salt and the sugar so you become more spirit than human. So you can learn how to
Right.
heal yourself, and then in turn help others as well. So it does take a toll on you, mentally, emotionally, and physically especially. But it's really worth it. Like I don't know how
Hey,
else to say it. It's so worth it.
the suffering
Like
is
I
worth
can't
it.
wait. Yeah. I can't wait to help others with this medicine. I feel I cannot, like, it's just changed me so much, and it's opened my heart so much. I used to be so closed-minded and or closed-hearted and scared, and now I just see what it's done for me. And now I host retreats. I organize retreats here in Acapulco, Mexico, and to see people light up. I just had my first retreat, our first retreat, I should say, in April, and it was so beautiful. Some people were really closed off when they came, and now they are journeying to Peru, and they're just like living their
That's
lives, and
so
they're so
amazing.
happy, and they're talking, and they're really expressing themselves in a way that they weren't before. And I got to watch this experience, and I just thought, wow, it's really, really beautiful, the work that ayahuasqueras do, because they get to watch this transformation in people and them go through this hard work and just be so proud of their journeys, because like I said, it's not easy work. So I really condone those people who face themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, it really, I mean, what I found, it really brings you to a place of surrender. And those who have the most beautiful, empowering experiences are those who fully surrender. And,
Right.
I find that not just with ayahuasca, but anything in life, it's about the surrender and the embrace of what is. And once you do that, you fully experience the power and beauty of everything else.
Right. And that is such a beautiful way to explain that, like when you surrender. Um, but that's hard for people. It's really, really
It
hard
is.
for people to face them, face it's hard for all of us to face ourselves. So I really give kudos to the people who are out there trying to make themselves better through whatever
Well, yeah,
whichever
I
path they
even,
go
I
through.
don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm doing Bikram yoga every day right now, and that's a
Oh,
whole
nice.
nother level of surrender. So, and it really is, it's about this like idea of, oh my gosh, I don't want to go do an hour and a half of suffering. But when you get done with it, or even when you're in the middle of it, like today, I was able to like look at myself in the mirror and do this crazy pose that I never would have been able to do. And I just was like, oh my God, like I can do this. And
Yeah.
so it's in those moments that you find all of the validation for all of the suffering or the struggle that you fear in the beginning. And it's
Yeah.
just like, wow, this is so empowering. And I found that especially with ayahuasca in my last ceremony, I had so much darkness. I had never experienced darkness even when I was with you in Peru. I never really experienced any darkness in my ceremonies or felt any negative energy. In my last ceremony, I had literal dark entities standing over me and I could feel their breath on me. And at one point it was like almost enveloping me and strangling me. And but it wasn't until I left the room, and when I came back I was holding a friend's hand, and then I was like, no, I want you to go have your own journey because I don't want to take over your journey. And as soon as he left, it came back, and it wasn't until I completely surrendered to it that it completely disappeared.
Hmm.
But every time I kept trying to fight it, or I was trying to think of everything I loved in my life, and it was just present right there. And as soon as I just let it all go and surrendered to it, it was gone. And then I went everywhere.
Wow.
And yeah, so I don't know if you've had an experience like that, but I find that we have all this fear in our mind about, this future suffering, but it's mostly just what we've made up in our own mind.
That's really true. I mean, it's the breath that gets us through
It
all of
is.
it. Yeah, I face some pretty bad energies, especially in the jungle. It's full of energies, and you're releasing energy when you're drinking the medicine. So you yourself have energy that's like coming off. And so and it could be that you're feeling, or other people's energy, because once you release that energy, it needs a new home. Like it's got to find. So if it's like jealousy
Right.
or anger, it's trying to find another home. And so, yeah, the Maloka can be pretty filled with energies.
Oh, well, and I think I discovered too within that ceremony that whatever darkness I feel is outside of me is usually just releasing itself from me,
Mm,
and there is no reason to fear it. So, but this is also, I think, another thing I came to is that whatever your truth is your truth, and whatever my truth is mine, and
right.
everyone's allowed to have their own truth. So
Sure.
even though I don't personally hold the belief that there are dark entities walking around trying to attack people, um, other people do. So that's totally cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally understand. I actually do believe that entities are walking around and
Well,
there's
I would
bad
like to talk
energy.
about that too.
No, we don't need to talk about that. Actually, I would prefer not to. I don't
Well,
I
not
don't want
right
to
now.
call
We
in
don't
that
need to,
energy. Yeah.
but I do want to talk about it sometime.
Yeah, I mean, well, you have to. Well, when you're training with the medicine, when you're apprenticing, you are going to run into, like, I have run into some really really crazy things, like things that I'm like, okay, so the purple octopus alien that I've had to clean. I mean, just like weird energies, and like I say it to my shamans, and like anybody in like the in society would be like, you're nuts. But it's so funny in Peru, they're like, uh-huh. Uh-huh. And what is the purple octopus alien? What is he doing? Where is he in your body? Like they're totally like so believe you. And that because they work with the medicine, they've seen shamans have seen
Oh, I'm
everything
sure.
you could imagine. They've heard everything. I've even heard that shamans will be like, okay, so the reason why you have this in this life is because you stepped in a dinosaur's footprint, like way back in the day.
Right.
It's just a crazy world, and it's a wormhole. It goes very, very deep.
Oh,
So
exactly.
yeah,
Well, and
and
I've only experienced 12 ceremonies. You've done like, I don't know, 70 or 100 or
I'm
something ridiculous.
I actually lost count. I think I'm over 100 because I've been holding them for myself. But eventually I thought I'll just keep track of every single one. I'll ceremony number 52. I've lost track at this point. But it comes
So,
down to now ayahuasca for me personally, like I still get so much out of the medicine. And I always like one thing, and I will never deny this, is that I never believed in God before I drank the medicine. Like I believed in the universe, and I always thought it was weird that my shaman was saying, "Oh, pray to God." But what God has been portrayed to us in religious, that's not the God that I hear. It's like this super sweet kindred calls me honey, like, oh honey, if I'm doing something, oh honey, no, no, we don't act like that, no, or like, or just, oh, we're here for you, it's okay, or it's just this really, really sweet voice. And that voice comes to me very strongly when I'm when I'm sitting with the medicine. But what apprentices and shamans use the medicine for, and my shaman always said this, that you once you start training with the medicine, the pretty things kind of go away, and all you see is the energies, because that's what you're doing for people. You're cleaning the energies off of them. So we don't
right.
see the pretty things anymore. We see and I still see pretty things. I will not allow my shaman to like tell me I can't see pretty things anymore. So I still get really beautiful insights and things like that. But we do have to clean that energy, and we have to know how. And so what's beautiful about these plants, bringing it back to the plants and the consciousness of these plants, is that when you're sitting with them, that's what teaches us how to sing. So like the shamans have these songs called icaros, and you know what they are. These very, very, very sacred. Some of them are very like Rama Gaya Gaya Ra, so, but the plants and the trees teach you how to sing. And they're the ones that teach you how to get rid of this energy. So, and it's funny now they're actually creating these machines. When I found this out, I was like, no, like this totally explains why the plants teach us how to sing. Because you can hook up these machines to these plants with your outside garden plants, and it will play the song that your plants are singing. And so every
Oh my
single
God.
plant has its own frequency and sings its own tune, which is so beautiful. I mean, and it really explains like oh my gosh, trees and plants have so much wisdom and knowledge that they want to share with us. So, and yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, if anything, I think I'd mentioned to you this in conversation, but somebody had mentioned to me that there's a theory that plants are growing us because they're more intelligent than us, and they know how everything should be cared for.
They do. They do. And they really, I've noticed with every single plant that I've sat with and learned from, they're there to teach us. Right now I'm working with morning glory. And so I make plant baths for like the new moon and the full moon. And I put a lot of intention in these plant baths. And one of the main plants that are blooming here in Acapulco right now are morning glories. And when I looked up the spiritual purpose of morning glories, it's all about harmony and peace. And I have been attaining such beautiful messages from the morning glory. You just have to tap in and really tune into what they're saying in their
Wow.
song. And I was woken up in the middle, like I wake up in the middle of the night with the plants telling me things. I know that sounds like I don't even care if it sounds crazy anymore, because it's my truth. And they're beautiful messages. They're beautiful epiphanies. And it's normally of like, well, how do you want your day to go today? Okay, don't worry about that. Let that go. And they're my teachers. The plants have taught me more, and I have let in the plants more than I have ever let in a human being. And that's starting to change now, but they definitely have been my biggest teachers so far in life. So, yeah, I give the plants a lot of credit.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, and it once you start your journey with it, you become open to really just flooding your body with as many fruits and vegetables as you can, just so
Yep.
that you can actually vibrate at a higher frequency. Like
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, I don't say that I'm vegan or vegetarian. I eat a specific way, but if I'm somewhere, I'm not going to be a snob or anything like that, but I just crave things that are just plant-based now all the
Right.
time.
Right. Well, you know what's really funny is I actually sat with peyote. Do you know peyote?
I do, but I have not experienced it yet.
Peyote is a really, really beautiful message or a beautiful plant or cactus and very beautiful medicine. But somebody told me that it was really like mild and like calm. And I was like, okay, so that's what I was expecting. And he just knocked me. And I say he because it's very masculine, unlike ayahuasca, which is very feminine. This peyote is very masculine. And this cactus knocked me right on my ass. And like I couldn't even move. I had so much energy. And he was teaching me how to like, clear energy. And I had another ceremony where the plant, the medicine told me the best way to love yourself is through an all alkaline diet. And now this is just for me, but I had never even thought about doing an alkaline diet, nor did I understand what it consisted of until I looked it up after my ceremony. And so now I've been leaning more towards an alkaline diet because our bodies are supposed to be mostly alkaline. That's when it functions the best, or so they say. But I've been doing this to my best ability. I haven't like fully gone all alkaline, but I definitely love feeding myself things that are going to give me the nutrients to really center myself to be able to communicate with nature. And I think that the alkaline diet is like perfect. But I can't believe a plant told me that. Like alkaline diet's the best way to love yourself. Thank you. Like, appreciate the message. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about too is that this helps people with addictions of many
Yeah.
different kinds. And like I said, it's not the magic pill or the magic potion that just sort of like you drink it one time and oh, you don't crave any of these things anymore. But I think it definitely starts unraveling why you are choosing to bring that into your life and what it
Right.
is that you're using it to mask. Because
Right.
ultimately, alcohol isn't really the problem, or cigarettes, or whatever. It's really what is it that you're doing with these habits to mask what's really going on here.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think that addiction is about not feeling loved or not feeling worthy. So for me, when I was a really heavy smoker, I would use the cigarette to kind of bond with instead of bonding with a human being. Anything to
Wow.
not bond with that human being. And I think same with alcohol. Alcohol made me feel very comfortable around people. I just was never I never wanted to socialize. I was always really afraid of rejection or, a criticism. And the plants have really helped me to get over that. And I don't need alcohol anymore. And sometimes still, I'm going to be honest with you, Jessica, I still crave alcohol, but it's that self-love that comes in and puts that
Yeah.
boundary up and says, no, I'm not going to put that poison in my body. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to suffocate myself with a cigarette. You know, it's just a complete different a different person. It's definitely, I give credit again to the plants. But it has been a very, very slow process.
So
To
it's very,
it,
yeah. I mean, if I'm to look at, I went to Peru for the first time, that was my first experience with ayahuasca in 2017 of June 2017, and I came back thinking, oh, I'm never going to drink alcohol again, and I think 2 weeks later I was drinking alcohol. It might even been less than 2 weeks actually, and even this last time I went again in March, and I had done 90 days no alcohol, but when I got back, I still drank. But each time that I chose to drink alcohol again, I had less of a desire for it, and it was becoming less like it just wasn't fun. It was kind of
right,
like I realized, wow, the reason I was drinking alcohol so was that I could have fun because I thought I needed alcohol to have fun.
right.
And yeah, at the end of the day, I finally just realized if you're out somewhere and you're not having fun, then you should probably just go home instead of trying to drink something to make yourself feel comfortable.
Right. And
So,
this, and it goes right back to protecting your energy. You know, the bar is not a place, or like being around people where energy is just like flowing and some of it might be toxic and there's alcohol involved. For me, that's a toxic environment. I won't join that environment. It's really hard for me to be around people who are drinking now. And I've been really staying, you know, in indoors and just with the people that I'm around, like my family that I live with here in Acapulco. They're very just drama-free people, and I've really enjoyed just staying around them right now. And it's hard for me to go out. I'm not gonna lie. Like I definitely have to put a strong protection around me in order to be around people who have toxic behaviors.
yeah. No, I feel the same way. I honestly don't really go out much anymore, and I haven't drank alcohol in I think over 3 months now. And in all honesty, I don't really have the desire for it anymore. I don't know if that's because I've kind of geared my life towards wanting to have a child in the near future, so I
Right.
just don't really feel like I want to put anything toxic in my body. But the desire has just slowly dissipated to the point where I just don't really think about it anymore at all.
That's really
And
beautiful.
of course, I still do have some addictions in my life, like codependency habits towards relationships and things like that. So that's kind of more what I'm working on right now. But it's like you said, it all really centers back to the self love.
Yeah.
Because I think that is all of our greatest journey here is to really discover the love that you have. And I like to say to surrender to the love that you have for yourself, because you do have love for yourself, but it's, are you willing to surrender to that love?
Right. Well, and we're all a work of progress. You know, the work is never done. So
No.
there's you uncover one thing and there's more under that layer. So, you know, it's just it's constant work. It doesn't ever get easier. You just go deeper. So the more that you uncover, the more there is to uncover. So we, you know, as long as we're alive, we're going to be continuing to learn how to love ourselves and love
Right.
others. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I think I heard somebody say, you're never going to get there and you can't get it wrong.
Oh, I love that. I'm gonna write that one down. You're gonna have to give me that one at the end.
I think I heard that. I think that was probably an Esther, Abraham and Esther Hicks. I think I listened to a lot of that. But yeah, I think that's really one of my biggest things is realizing like you are perfect in every single moment, no matter what, because you're
Mhm.
always doing the best with what you have in the moment. You know,
Right.
if you could do any better, then you would have done it better, you know? So it's really learning to not shame yourself when you do go back to doing certain things, because it's always now. You always have the opportunity to start something different, you know?
Well,
There,
you know, that's it's funny that you say that because that was one of my biggest lessons in Peru. This last time I was in Peru, um, I've always had a hard time forgiving myself, and I made the big mistake after my first apprenticeship of doing drugs again, LSD, MDMA, man-made drugs, which I had to learn this for myself. To you know, I've been a promoter of psychedelics since I was 23, not realizing that they were causing me incredible harm, and energetically, and neurologically. And so, and I really got to see an in-depth look of that energy when I went back to Peru and saw like how bad it was blocking me from spirit. And it took me months, like the full 2 months, to actually forgive myself for that mistake. And I kept having dreams in my diet about eating eggs and like during my diet, and like eating the eggs and being like, I'm on diet, like I can't be eating the eggs, but I'm gonna still eat the eggs. And I would wake up from these dreams of eating eggs and be mad at myself because you get tested. And so you're always like, is this a test? Is this a test? And so you're constantly being tested, and even in your dreams. And I would get so mad at myself for eating these eggs in my dreams. And finally, the tree came out, the tree that I dieted, and said to me, this is the reason why I'm giving you these dreams of the eggs is not so you punish yourself, but so you forgive yourself. And it was such a beautiful message of self-love and forgiveness, that we are human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to get angry. We're going to piss somebody off. We're going to, we're going to make the same mistakes as we did before. It was one step backward, or one step forwards, two step backs. And we have to learn how to love ourselves in that process, even when we don't want to, because we had our lights dimmed when we were a kid, when we made mistakes and we were punished for it. So we dim our own light now as an adult. We have to learn that these are mistakes. That's it. They're just mistakes. They're going to help us
Yeah,
grow and learn, for the future.
exactly.
So yeah.
Well, actually, it was funny. I think I was in Peru in March, and you had posted something about being grateful for Matt Kahn or something like that. And I was like, I never heard of Matt Kahn before. And I looked him up, and I think the first video that came up was like a twin flame soulmate, or maybe that's what you posted about. You
Yeah.
posted about like the different explanation he gives about twin flames and soulmates. And that started my
Yes.
journey with Matt Kahn, and which is all about, whatever arises, love that. Love, even the parts of yourself that you're being bothered by.
Right. Right. Hey, I'm sorry. My phone's gonna die, so I want to grab my
Oh,
charger
no
really
worries.
fast, and I'm gonna have to put different headphones in.
No worries.
So, yeah, Matt Kahn is amazing. He has just incredible videos that I enjoy watching so much.
Well, he's one of the few people that when I listen to him, pretty much everything he says resonates with me. Because I don't really
Yeah.
hold to a specific belief pattern
To
or
a specific
philosophy or anything
belief
like that.
pattern or philosophy or anything like that.
So now it's I
So,
don't
are you there?
oh, is it on your DM?
Okay.
It's like reverberating back now.
Uh-oh. You good?
Yeah, I don't know if it's oh, it is gonna keep doing it. It did this
Did
once
this once
before on
before.
another conversation.
It's because I moved. Good. You're gonna see my 80s headphones too.
Oh, maybe it was the headphones, so maybe that's better now.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, I
Oh,
have a
okay.
bad speaker from the jungle. It really screwed up my speaker on my phone. So
Oh, well, yeah, I'm sure the humidity will definitely do that. Oh, but actually, so because I'm going to tango class soon too, anyways. But I wanted you to share about what projects you're working on, and if people are interested in an introduction to plant medicine, what would you recommend for them?
Um, the retreats that I organize, I think it's a really, really great way to introduce you to plant medicine. Plus, we have an array of different medicines that we offer at the retreats that I help to organize here in Acapulco, Mexico. February, we have a ton of different retreats coming up and ceremonies, not just with ayahuasca, but with peyote and with
And I will
hape.
definitely be there, by the way.
Yay! And we're calling it Anarch Awakening, and this is the
I
first
love it.
time that I am talking about it publicly. And yeah, so it's going to be incredible. It's going to be around the Anarchapulco conference, and I'm so excited to I'm so excited to show everybody, the what it can do to help, and then to also um, for you to be introduced to Remy, the shaman that's going to be there. He is incredible. He's a very, very dear friend of mine, and I adore him and his wife. They do absolutely amazing work. They take such good care of the people, and they're so open with their information. And they just opened a center here in Mexico. So yeah, I'm really hoping that so many people come and at least meet them. I think that meeting the shaman and really understanding where they're from, and that they work out of their heart and they work with integrity really helps for people to feel really safe. And of course, I would never choose a shaman that doesn't meet those qualities. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, Remy's gonna be the shaman, and he's incredible. I'm so grateful to know him, Yeah, it'll be an amazing, a special experience for the people who attend. So
I
that's my
love
main
that. And
project right now.
I love
Yeah.
it. Well, and I think that's what I'd like to add for people who are afraid or scared. Because I have a lot of people go, "Oh my gosh, I couldn't handle the throwing up or the vomiting, or it just scares me." And when you are in the midst of people with beautiful energy, and I wouldn't recommend doing this with a shaman that hasn't been recommended to you
Right.
or something like
Yeah.
that. You really want to go somewhere where you know some people who know the shaman,
Yeah.
and so that's why I had gone, where I went with you, and I went again with a group that I knew. So it's really important to connect yourself with beautiful people who know the shamans.
Exactly. And I mean, it's not just Remy, it's another good dear friend of mine who is also an apprentice buddy, Ariel. And so I have two shaman, and then Ashley, and then we have two assistants. It'll be me, and hopefully my friend Matthew is coming down to assist with me. And he's incredible. He's apprenticed with the medicine. It's all beautiful people who work through their hearts and really work with integrity with this medicine. So I think that once people meet the shamans and really get to know them, that they're going to feel really safe. I don't recommend any other shaman aside from the ones that I go to in Peru. I trust Remy with my life. That's how much I trust Remy. He's really proven him. So we call him the 6,000-year-old man. He's just very, very wise, and he's very, very connected to these plants, and is really pure in his intentions. So yeah, it's going to be a very special experience having him come back to Acapulco to host these retreats.
Nice. And you get
Yeah.
to be on the beach. I mean, I love Peru, but I just got to tell you, your ayahuasca experience is probably about 20 times enhanced with the ocean and,
Yeah,
and
we
lack
definitely, if
and
you want to
lack of
go,
mosquitoes.
well, we still have mosquitoes, but if you want to go to the ocean, please take my hand before you just go out into the ocean. But um, we have really, really, I mean, Niue Rao had we have diet food, dieta food, so it's very, very bland in Peru. At the center in Acapulco, we make really, really good food made with love, and you get to eat right on the beach, and there's a pool, and there's a temazcal. If you've never done a temazcal, my friend Vistara, who runs the center, she's going to be hosting the temazcals, which are it's just an amazing spiritual, sweaty experience. But when you go swim in the ocean, and take breaks and swim in the ocean and get little hibiscus water, it's such a beautiful,
Oh my
just
gosh.
kindred, just experience. I love it so much. So I'm going to be taking videos of Bambuda and the center that we're doing this all at, and yeah, I'm going to be sharing that soon.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, maybe you can post some of your links below afterwards so people can check out some of your work.
yeah.
And yeah, are there any parting? I'm sure there's been other questions and comments on here, but I've missed all of it.
Yeah.
Um, but is there anything that you want to add or leave people with before we conclude this conversation?
Well, if anybody has any questions or concerns, or just wants to reach out and talk about their experience, I am always open to talking about people's experiences. I know that it's so very taboo in the United States to go through this experience, and that was another thing I wanted to mention too. Is one thing that we have in our program is that you are always connected to the shamans. So if you ever need anything at all, and you have any questions or concerns, you can always get a hold of any of the shamans that we have working at the organization at that time. So that's a big thing, and I just want to let everybody know that if you ever want to, talk to me about anything that's going on, I'm always open. I've always got a listening ear. So
I love that. Yeah, because like you said, the integration is one of the biggest keys after you experience all of this amazingness. It's kind of a little bit of a challenge to go back to the real world, but when you have support from experience that, it makes a huge difference.
yeah, it was a woman actually who had experience. I had about 12 ceremonies that helped me through my first ayahuasca experience. So it's always nice to be able to kind of connect with the medicine people. The medicine people are very, very forgiving and kind, and we all go through our shit. So we all know, we all are very patient with each other and are very understanding and very, very compassionate. So, it's good to connect with the medicine people. That's for sure.
I love it. Well, I'm glad I'm connected to you, medicine woman.
Likewise, igualmente. Well, you have fun at Teo.
Cool, and
Thank
I'm
you.
sure we'll be doing future conversations, but I really encourage people to check out Macy's work. And if you are even slightly curious, I always say, like, you'll know when ayahuasca's calling you. You'll just kind of get that feeling. And maybe it will be this February, this coming February, or maybe it will be in the future. But I'm
Yeah.
sure you'll be doing lots more, and I will be doing more. And I definitely intend to be there in February, so I'm super excited.
Beautiful. We're so excited to have you. And it'll be an honor to hold safe space for you and sacred space for you.
I love it. Awesome. Well,
Beautiful.
thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night and everyone else. And thank you all for
Yeah.
watching. And I will talk to you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.